Hello there and welcome back to my YouTube channel and to today's video all about how to secure an accounting apprenticeship, some top student tips so that you can land that job you are applying for. I am delighted to be joined today by the lovely Toheed, who's given up his time, who is an accounting apprentice, and we're going to walk and talk through some of his key tips that we would recommend that you follow if you're applying for an accounting or finance apprenticeship at the moment. But Toheed, feel free to introduce yourself, my friend.
Thank you, James. So I'm an accounting apprentice, currently in Newcastle, and I am studying with Kaplan, and I'm also an apprentice at a local accountancy firm. I studied university for 3 years, accountancy and finance, and now, having graduated, I'm an apprentice.
Sweet, lovely stuff. And I've put all of Toheed's details at the bottom. He puts out some super content as well. So if you want to check it out at the bottom, the link is all down there, all of his details. But Toheed, walk and talk us through what is the first key tip if you're applying for an accounting apprenticeship, in your opinion.
So as a student, you have to understand the importance of networking. It is the #1 thing when you are looking for a job, whether that be an apprenticeship, whether that be any graduate job. You have to understand the importance of networking. That means that you have to take advantage of the opportunities that you get. For example, while at university, I took advantage of the different opportunities I got to meet recruiters at careers fairs, for example. But not only that, you have to be confident, and you have to have the confidence to reach out to people on LinkedIn. Just drop a message to the firms that you're looking to apply to, and understand that the key aim is to reach as many people as you can.
Yes, I completely agree. I tell all my students, get yourself on LinkedIn and don't worry if the answer is sometimes no on that. I mean, did you get many no's in your applications, Toheed, when you're looking around to applying to companies?
I did. Of course, like any student, you would get rejections, but you have to understand that when you network, you learn a lot from people that you speak to. For example, when I was networking, I spoke to people from a range of sectors, and that helped me a lot because currently I'm in a tax apprenticeship in an accounting firm. So it really helped me understand which sector I wanted to go into, and that was through networking and listening to people that were already in the roles that I was looking to get into.
Fantastic. And what would you say about using the government website, first of all, to maybe get the ball rolling? How did you get on faring with that?
That helped me see where apprenticeships were across the UK.
Agreed.
It will help. It really does, because it helps you see which areas of the UK do have more apprentices and apprenticeships than others. But again, it really is in networking, talking to as many people as you can. And for me specifically, it was through recruitment firms, going out, being able to have a good LinkedIn profile so recruiters can find you.
Nice, nice. And what are the key sort of tips for anyone out there who maybe doesn't have LinkedIn? If you're applying for apprenticeships, it might be a bit of a new game for you, but what are the key things to help you stand out so that a recruiter or a local firm is going to find you and then get in contact with you?
Just to gain as much experience as you can. Do not underestimate the small experiences that you may get here and there. For example, football team, being part of the football team builds the team building skills, it builds the communication skills, and you shouldn't underestimate that. And also, to be confident, being able to be a good communicator is really important today in the job market. So being able to take advantage of roles such as being a student representative while at school, while at university, joining a society will really help you to develop and enhance their skills.
Yeah, it's the people skills along with the technical skills which are really paramount. And what I recommend to accounting apprentices or people who want to get into the accounting sector, if you have a look at something called ACCA X, they are free accounting courses backed by the professional body that I'm a qualified member from. and they're free to use. They'd look great on your CV. And if you posted about it on LinkedIn, I'm pretty sure you're going to get people who are going to check out your profile on there. But what was your sort of experience actually networking and then actually meeting the businesses? So going to that interview process, what top tips could you give a student who's maybe got an interview tomorrow, next week?
Do not be afraid. Really, do not be afraid. Be confident. You have to be confident in an interview, and you have to be able to give that impression to the interviewer of your personality. That is a big thing to do when directors, partners are looking for apprentices. They're looking for the personality that they have. They are looking at whether they can train up somebody to become, whether they can train up an apprentice. If somebody's got an interview coming up tomorrow, being prepared and being confident is the main thing. Go on their company website, see what their culture is like. That is something that I did with the company that I'm currently working at. Researching the firm, for example, mine specializes in healthcare, and that was something that I spoke about in my interview, because I liked the fact that I would be focusing on healthcare accounting and how, as an apprentice, I would then become an expert in that. So really understand the selling points of the firm that you're applying for, but also understand their culture and the values that they hold.
Yeah, I completely agree. And when I used to work in practice, I used to train some of the apprentices. So getting used to the different softwares within the accounting practice. But when it came to the interview stage, the usual standards are research the company, the background, who are the company directors, and then if you can, there are some free courses out there, such as using maybe Sage or Iris or another one, or Zero. If you can get on any of these little free courses. The other one, just to mention while we're talking about software, how important is Excel within your work?
It is something I use every hour. I use it all the time. But one of the big ways is the income and expenditure accounts that we make for our tax returns is vital. And joining and also taking advantage of these courses online will really help you to stand out.
Yeah.
And being able to put that certificate, for example, that you get from these courses on your CV will really help you to stand out.
Definitely, definitely. And even doing a bit of research on the professional body websites, and do your research as to say, if you're going to start on an accounting apprenticeship, which professional qualification are you going to be doing? So that if you've researched that before your interview, then you can talk about it. Are you going to be on a study contract? What's it like working there as well? I mean, which professional qualification are you currently studying towards?
So I currently am a tax apprentice, so I study the ACCA qualification. I'll be sitting my exams in a couple of months.
Nice.
But as a tax professional, you would aspire to become fully qualified chartered tax advisor, and that's done through sitting the ATT exams and then sitting the CTA exams. So that's the career progression.
Lovely stuff. But you can tell you've done your research on it. You've done your background reading as well, and that is definitely going to stand out to any employer when you sat across that interview table as well on there. But are there any other things that sort of stand out that you wish you would have known before that you do now? That's one of the key things for today's video.
Not to have confidence, because when I first started my apprenticeship, everything was completely new, as you can imagine. Everything was new, so the systems, not only Excel, but also the tax software that we use. And you have to be confident that it's a process. As an apprentice, it's a process that you're on, and you're on a 2-year, for example, apprenticeship. And as you go on, you will be learning. And even now, in the role that I am in, it's been around 8 months, but I am still learning every day. So it's a process. And if I was to go back in time before I did an apprenticeship, I would take advantage of networking. I would go to more events. to meet more professionals in the roles that I would have aspired to join.
I completely agree, and there'll be students who are watching this right now, and I completely feel you that if you're an apprentice, you might go into a firm or to a networking event, you think, oh my word, everyone here is so much older than me, it's a bit awkward. I mean, what would be your advice there, that you've been clearly working with some senior people within your organization? What advice would you give to a student who is looking to take that step to reach out to someone on LinkedIn or go to a networking event on there?
One thing that I would say is that if a student was to come to myself, or a university student was to come to myself and ask for help, I would want to hear from them. I would want to give them help. So I think you have to think about the people on LinkedIn, the professionals. They are there to help you.
Yeah.
We put on our profile the sector that we work in, the qualifications that we have, and that helps yourself to understand that we are able to provide advice to you. And we actually like it when students email us or connect with us on LinkedIn and ask for advice, because you have to understand that we were in the same position as you. Exact same position as you a couple of years ago. So do not be afraid. We've been there.
Exactly. Honestly, I'll tell you now, I went to a young professionals, but I'm part of the young professionals events in Lincoln, where we met some apprentices who came along, and I'm getting on a bit now, but they were 16, 17 or so, and I went over and said hello to them, and they're a bit sort of a bit jittery, but hey, they were there, they had loads of questions, we got chatting, and now they may actually be watching this recording. But what about, the only final question I have on here is, what about applying to companies directly? How did you get on applying to companies directly when you were looking for jobs on there?
Applying to companies directly, for example, the Big Four. I used YouTube a lot when I was applying to the Big Four. I did connect with people on LinkedIn, but I thought that, for example, the online test stage, I used YouTube a lot. But for the role that I'm currently in, I actually was messaged by a recruiter who spoke to me about the sector that I want to go into, but actually gave me the opportunity to reach out to the firm that I'm currently working in to understand the value and the training that an apprenticeship provides you. So I think that isn't something that you can always find online. It's something that you would have to speak to a recruiter to, that will open you then to these opportunities like apprenticeships.
I agree, but you've done the background work. You made your online profile look really attractive. They reached out and said, hey, Toheed is really proactive here, clearly. Let's get in touch and let's collaborate and see what we can offer on there. But really good that you did your due diligence and your background research onto it. But I mean, is there any final point, Toheed, to that last nugget of information that's in your mind that you couldn't sleep tonight? If there's an accounting apprentice watching this now, final words of advice, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking, understand the importance of networking. Do not be afraid. And I would say one thing on this is to take advantage of the opportunities that come to you, not just joining a society, not just joining your student voice committee, for example, but to take every advantage that comes to you when networking.
Yeah, whether you're leaving college, leaving school, leaving university, there will be opportunities out there. The ball is in your court. And as I always say, the worst they can say is no. But hey, I'm not looking for all those no's. I'm just looking for that one yes. That is the main thing. And it is out there. You're walking, talking proof of it. So am I. That we've both had rejections on it. It's just to give whoever's watching this now that bit of confidence when they are starting their search. And again, if you've got any questions, feel free to leave us a comment at the bottom. I'd love to hear them. I'll make sure I try and answer absolutely as many as possible. But firstly, as well, Toheed, thank you so much for today. I really appreciate your time. And like I said, I'd highly recommend you check out his details all below. and plenty more content to come. But Toheed, thank you so much for today and for coming on the channel for your debut. Have you enjoyed it?
Thank you. I have, definitely.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. We'll have to do some more, which may be after this. But anyway.
Looking forward to it.
Well, you'll have to tune in. I'll put it at the end of this video. But on that bombshell, we'll see you next time. Cheers.